Yesterday we learned about mean and median of a set of data. And we talked about the mean is the average of a data set. And in order to calculate the mean, you add up all of the numbers and divide by how many numbers are in that data set. And then we talked about the median. And the median is also known as the middle of the data set. To find the median, your numbers have to be listed in numerical order from smallest to largest. So sometimes you might have to rewrite your list before you can find that middle number. Today it's going to be important that we also keep our numbers in the data set in numerical order. So we're going to talk today about mode and range. And as I go through this lesson, I really want you to fill in this packet so that you have your own set of notes to refer back to later. So, to begin as a review, mean, median, and mode are three kinds of averages in statistics. They each try to summarize a data set with a single number to represent a typical data point, or one that best describes the set. These aren't the only types of averages that you'll see in statistics, but they certainly are the three that you are most likely to encounter right now. So, while mean, median, and mode are different measures of center, they all try to do the same thing. So, now that we know about mean and median, we're going to go ahead and get started with mode first. And for the mode, I'm going to give you a definition. I want you to go ahead and record it. The mode is the value that occurs most often. So when you're given a data set, this is the number that you're going to see occur the most. So, you would need to know how to find the mode when you need to know like the most common answer or the thing that happens most often. So for example, if you want to know how many siblings that most sixth graders have, in that case it wouldn't make sense to find the mean because you may end up with a decimal answer. It doesn't make sense to have a decimal number of siblings. So in this case we would want to find the mode. So to find the mode, there are three steps that you want to take. So let's go ahead and get the steps down. First, you're going to put the numbers in order. From least to greatest. So this is the first step that we started with when we did the median as well. So it's just a good idea when you're trying to find a measure of center to go ahead and put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Even if you're doing the mean, it's not going to hurt to have them in numerical order. Next step is count how many times each number occurs in that data set. And in step 3, the number that occurs the most is the mode. So you have your answer. So make sure you have those 3 steps down. And again, just like any time I record a video, if you need to pause or rewind at any time, please do so. All right, let's go ahead and practice this. So, first example in your packet. So back to that example I gave you. If you asked your class of peers how many siblings that they have. So we've asked the 6th graders the number of siblings each of them have. And these are the responses we get. So this is our data set. 1, 3, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, 1, 0, 5, 1, 1. That's a lot of responses. So, step 1, put the numbers in order from least to greatest. And just like when we did the median, don't leave anything out, even if you have a duplicate. So go ahead and put those in order. So we have 2 zeros. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. And we have a 2 and another 2. We have 2 2s. We have a 3. And we have a 5. Step 2 is to count how many times each number occurs. So zeros we have 2 times. Ones we have 6 of them. Twos we have 2 of them. Threes we have 1. And fives we have 1. And you probably could have just grabbed the mode by looking at it. I mean, you can obviously see that 1 occurs the most times. But again, with our count, we can also see that 1 occurred 6 times, which is more than any of the other numbers. So our mode is 1. The mode's not 6. That's how many times it showed up. The mode is the number that shows up the most. All right. Example 2. Here, you're not given a scenario. You're actually just given a set of data, and they're asking you to find the mode. So here, let's focus. We have the numbers 4, 2, 4, 3, 2, 2. So again, it's helpful to put the numbers in order. So we have 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 4. And I know that kind of seems silly to put it in order right now, but eventually by the end of this lesson, we're going to put everything together and we're going to do mean, median, mode, and range of the data set. So it will be extremely helpful to have it in numerical order. Step 2 is to look and see or count how many times each number occurs. We have 3 2s, we have 1 3, and 2 4s. So the mode of this data set is 2. So as you can see, there's no calculations with mode. It's just organizing your data and picking out the one that occurs the most. All right, as we move into example 3, it's important that you also know it is possible in a set of data to have more than one mode. A number, for instance, find the mode in the following set. So let's go ahead and just follow our 3 steps. First of all, let's put this data set in order. So we're going to start with 61. We have a 62, a 63 twice. We have a 66, two 67s, a 68, and a 70. So, now that we have it in order, as we look at this, we have 161, 162, we have 2 63s, a 66, 2 67s, a 68, and a 70. Because there are 2 each, there isn't one number that shows up the most, there's 2. So actually the answer to this one, the mode is going to be 63 and 67. And that is possible. You can have 0 modes, 1 mode, 2 mode, 3 modes. You can have multiple modes as long as the numbers you're choosing show up the same number of times within that data set. Okay. You can also calculate the mode or determine the mode when the data is non-numeric. So if you remember, we had categorical data when we first started statistics. We talked about that being one type of data. So in this example, say the students in your class were asked the question, what's your favorite pizza topping? And these are the responses that you get. You have 9 liked pepperoni, 7 liked cheese, 4 liked sausage, and 1 likes anchovies. Well, the non-numeric responses are actually pepperoni, cheese, sausage, and anchovies. And these numbers just represent how many times they show up. We can still organize this with the number of times it shows up and just putting those in order. So we have 1, 4 times, 7 times, and 9 times. That's not going to make any sense because now we don't have a mode. But if you think about the responses to the question, pepperoni was answered 9 times. So these actually aren't the responses. Those are the frequencies, how many times that response came up. So if you think about the definition to the word mode, the value that occurs most often. Well, when we asked the question, what's your favorite pizza topping? Pepperoni came up most often. So the mode in this data set is actually pepperoni. It showed up most often. So you can have a single mode with a numeric data set. You can have more than one mode for a numeric data set. You can also have a mode for a categorical data set. And that's it. Mode's pretty plain and simple, cut and dry. So let's go ahead and move on to the range of a data set. The range of a data set is the difference between the largest and the smallest values. So again, it's going to be extremely helpful for you to have the numbers in numeric order in order to easily identify the largest and the smallest. So, step 1, put the values in numeric order, numerical. We're seeing a pattern here. Step 2, you're going to subtract the smallest value from the largest value. And we know we're subtracting because this math keyword up here, the difference between the two values. So you're going to take the largest one and subtract the smallest. If you need to, you can pause that so you can get your definition and your steps written down. And we'll move on to our first example. So example 1. You take 7 statistics tests over the course of a semester. You score 94, 88, 73, 84, 91, 87, and 79. What is the range of your scores? So, step 1, put those in numerical order. So you're going to want to find the smallest value, which is 73 in this case. And again, I'm crossing them out so I know I've got them all. Next value is 84. And then we have, oops, I skipped one. Miss Kelly already made a boo-boo. It was actually 73 and then 79, followed by 84, 87, 88, 91, and 94. And step 2 is subtract the smallest number from the largest number. So we're going to take 94 minus 73. So off to the side. Don't forget how to subtract two numbers. You probably don't need a calculator for this. 4 minus 3 is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. So our range is 21. that's the spread. I know when I was there on Monday, we did talk about the spread of a set of data. So smallest from the largest. So as you can see, range is pretty simple as well. Go ahead and try number 2 on your own. Go ahead and pause the video. I will tell you that this example is already put in numerical order for you. So jump to step 2 and calculate the range, and then come back to the video. The largest value is 38. We're going to subtract the smallest value, and we simply get our range of 36. All right, example 3. You have your data set here. It actually has you set up to go ahead and reorder the numbers. So we want to reorder least to greatest. 2, 3, 4. Careful here, there are 2 5s, a 7, and a 9. And the range is largest minus smallest to give us 7. All right. Now that you know how to do range, let's go ahead and take a word problem. Example 4 tells you Philip has 8 red balls, 3 green balls, 6 yellow balls, 3 orange balls, 13 black balls, and 15 blue balls in his bag. Now they're asking you to find the mode and the range. So they're going to ask you to find 2 measures for this data set. And you know how to figure out both. So this is what I was talking about. Although with range you don't have to put it in numerical order to be able to solve it, it's easiest when you start solving for more than one of the central tendencies. So let's go ahead and circle our data values. And let's go ahead and put them in numerical order. So the smallest of these is 3, and there's 2 3s. Next comes the 6, then the 8, then the 13, and the 15. So now, when it's asking us for mode, we can clearly see 3 appears more often than any of the other numbers. So our mode is going to be 3. And our range, we take the largest and subtract the smallest. 15 minus 3 is 12. So our mode is 3 and our range is 12. Right. So in summary, mean, median, and mode are different measures of center in a numerical data set. They each try to summarize that data set with a single number to represent a typical data point from the set. The range of the data set describes the difference between the smallest and largest numbers in a set of data. All right. Lastly, we're going to try to put it all together. So in this very last problem, it says 10 students from a class participated in a math quiz. The scores obtained by them were recorded as follows. And here are the math scores. Hopefully there wasn't more than 16 questions on there, because otherwise they would have done very poorly. And they've given you just 4 blanks. So you're going to start getting questions like this when you're given a data set and then you're asked to find all 4 points of data: the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. So again, extremely helpful if you take this data set and first put it in numerical order, because it will become much easier to find median, mode, and range once you have that done. So let's go ahead and put it in order. So we have a 1. The next comes a 6. We have 2 7s. We have an 11. 1, 2, 3 13s, and 2 16s. All right. So you got to think back to yesterday's lesson, and in order to calculate the mean, you have to add all of the data values together. 13 plus 13. 16. And for that, when you add them all up, you get 103. And you have to divide by the number of values in that set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And when you divide 103 by 10, you get 10.3. Oops. So our mean is 10.3. The median is the middle value. And if you remember, when you have an even number of values, we already know we have 10 of them, the middle is going to be two numbers that you have to average. So I didn't show you this yesterday, but this is another way that you can easily get to the center. Start crossing out numbers once you have them in order from the outside in until you meet in the middle. So if we cross out the outside, and then we cross off the next one, and the next ones, and the next ones, we get to the middle. If we cross them both out, we won't have a middle. So these two numbers are our middle. So in order to get the median, we have to take those two numbers and add them up, and then divide by 2. So we get 24 divided by 2, which mental math tells us that is 12. So our median is 12. And remember, when you have an even number of data values in your set, the median is not going to be a number that's actually in this set, because you had to find a number that was exactly in the middle of the middle. All right, now we're down to the mode, which we can visibly see that 13 appears more often than any other number. And the range, we need the highest number of 16 minus the lowest value of 1, which gives us a difference of 15, and that's the range. So now you have learned mean, median, mode, and range, and you should be able to do problems like this when you're asked to find all 4 for the same set of data. So now that you have finished the lesson, you're going to go to the teacher and ask for an exit ticket. It's going to look like this. You're going to be asked to determine the mode for this set of data, the range for number 2, and the mode and range for the same set of data in number 3. Once you're finished with that, there's the problem set for this lesson. So again, there's 3 problems that you're asked just to find the mode, 3 problems where you're just asked to find the range, and then there's actually 2 word problems that I threw in here. Bring this up a little bit. So I want you to read the word problem and figure out what it's asking for. It's not going to come out and say mean, median, mode, or range, but you're going to have to decide which one it's actually asking for. So if you need to, look back at your notes, find out what the definition of each of those are, and find out what the questions are actually asking you. All right, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow.